Welcome back to the CBA Digital Network's edition of First Take. My name is Nicholas Harari, and I'm here with Mo Periudakis and Nate Ryan. Today we are going to be discussing the NFC and AFC championship predictions, as well as the Super Bowl predictions. For a brief overview of the teams, of course, we have the Ravens, who right now are, the elite team to beat in the NFL and the AFC, as well as the Chiefs, who have had a rocky season. I believe Mahomes hasn't performed as well, but they've gotten hot when it matters most. And then, of course, in the NFC, we have the Niners, who, once again, in the NFC have been kind of the undisputed best team there. And then the Lions, who you could say have been on a little bit of a Cinderella story. Let's get started off with the NFC. The Niners versus the Lions. Mo, what do you got?
Yeah, Nick. So I think for the NFC game, I think this one's going to be the most interesting one out of the two. I mean, you have a Lions team who, has come up but has done everything they've needed to do this season. I mean, they've exceeded expectations by the city, by the league, and mostly by the entire United States. And I think that they have something to prove. And you're talking about Brock Purdy. I mean, he's shown that he can play in the system, but I don't think he's really been tested by like a dominant defense that will give him a run for his money. And I think the Lions are going to make it an interesting game. However, the offense from the Niners are a really powerful one, and I think the Niners will end up getting it done.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. My prediction is definitely for the 49ers to win. The Lions have been on a tear recently. I'm a big fan of watching them play. Superstar rookies all over, been a huge part of their team. But the 49ers are just an unstoppable force in the NFC. They have the number one rushing offense and defense, and they're their defense is tied for the most in the league with interceptions. And Jared Goff is a quarterback I trust to elevate an offense to a degree, but he's not going to be a game changer for you. He's more of a game manager, similar play style to Brock Purdy. But against this 49ers defense, I just don't see the Lions stepping up to the plate, and I think that Jared Goff is going to be put through hell, and Brock Purdy is going to be able to lean on Christian McCaffrey, even if Debo's out. But McCaffrey is just such a weapon on the ground, in the air, that I don't think the Lions are going to be able to match up with them.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm kind of with you guys on this one. I love the Lions, and I love their Cinderella story, I'm behind all the Lions fans. I would love them to win against the Niners, but I just really don't see them getting it done. I think this is the end of their run. They're in San Francisco going against a star-studded lineup. I mean, they would have to pull off some heroics, I think, to get it done. So I'm going to take the Niners in this one. For sure. Now in the AFC, we have the Ravens, of course, the elite team, versus the Chiefs, who have been to the AFC Championship every year of Mahomes' career. So what do you guys think on that one?
Yeah, I think that going off your point that you just made, I mean, he's been in the league for 6 years now, and he's made this game 6 times. So, I mean, that's something to say on your resume, especially when he's going to retire. He's definitely going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. And, we're probably witnessing greatness from Mahomes. But going to the Ravens, I think this is the best football they've definitely played in the last couple of years. And Lamar is having, yet again, another MVP season, and he's just been tearing through the league. Yeah. And I don't see them slowing down. I've really not been impressed with the Chiefs this year. Their defense, they have a couple of injuries, and the offense, they don't really have stud receivers except Travis Kelce in the tight end spot and Pacheco at running back. So I think the Ravens will win, and I think they're going to end up winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to make the Chiefs look foolish in this matchup. The Chiefs just don't have enough firepower on either side of the ball right now. I think the Ravens just match them too well. Like, Travis Kelce is the biggest threat on the Chiefs' offense, and Roquan Smith at linebacker is arguably the best in the league, up there with the 49ers' Fred Warner. But I think he's going to be able to lock down Travis Kelce. So Mike Macdonald, one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. The Ravens have the most sacks of any team, and I think that the Chiefs' offensive line is a little bit suspect. I don't trust everyone on that line. They have a great guard, great center, but the tackles, I think, are questionable, and I think the Ravens' defense is going to make them look terrible. Mahomes is going to be running for his life like he was in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and the lack of talent at wide receiver is going to really come back to bite them.
I mean, I agree with all of those points both of you guys made. The only thing I would say is I think this matchup will be closer than a lot of people think because, of course, the Chiefs have been there 5 years in a row, so they know what they're doing, but they have not had a great season, lack depth at the wide receiver position, and the Ravens have just looked unstoppable this season. Lamar with that dynamic run with Justice Hill and Gus Edwards. I mean, they just their run game, they average 160 yards rushing per game, which is like leads the league by a long shot. Which I just think they're gonna find a way to get it done against the Chiefs. But I do think it will be a closer match. I think it will be within a score, but I still think the Ravens will get it done. Now moving on to the Super Bowl, sounds like we all unanimously have the Ravens versus the Niners. What are your guys' predictions on the Super Bowl, Ravens versus Niners?
Yeah, so I said the Ravens, but now that I think about it, I do think the Niners probably have the most dominant team in the league if we're really going to talk about it. I mean, their offense is just unbelievable. You have Ayuk, who's had 7+ 100-yard games. You have Kittle, who's a Pro Bowler tight end. McCaffrey, who's the best running back in the league, undisputed, no doubt. And honestly, if Purdy can just get it done with the system QB that they tell me he is, and I don't see a problem for them because their defense is amazing. I mean, you add Chase Young midseason. You have Nick Bosa, who's always in the top 4 discussion for best defensive player in the league. I don't see why they couldn't win this game.
I mean, going back to their matchup on Christmas, Brock Purdy threw, I think, 4 interceptions. Now, not all of them were his fault. I do think one was just a misread by him. But I think the Ravens' defense is still just that good. They've been unbelievable. I think on offense, Lamar is not playing as flashy as he did in his 2019 MVP campaign, but right now he looks like a more complete quarterback. He's getting it done through the air, not as reliant on the ground, but he gets it done every single time, no matter what. He can excel at every facet of the game right now, and I think he'll be able to pick apart this 49ers defense as good as they are. And he did that in their last matchup. I think that it's going to be similar to what we saw during that Christmas game, and I think the Ravens are going to pull it out.
No, I mean, I have the Niners in this one. I think they have just a star-studded team, and, despite the Ravens winning their first matchup, and yeah, the Ravens are a really good team, but there's something about Lamar that I just feel like something's going to happen in the Super Bowl. He's going to end up screwing them over, and I know, he is probably going to be the MVP this season.
Yeah.
But regardless, they still have to win the chip. But I have the Niners here. Purdy, yeah, he did look rough in that first game, and I think if the Niners want to win that game, they have to limit that. They're probably going to have to stay on the ground with McCaffrey, work those short passes, and yeah, they looked rocky against Green Bay too. But I think once they get their things figured out against the Lions this week, they'll have momentum going into the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy will hopefully have Debo back by then, and of course, as you were saying, Ayuk, Kittle, and of course their defense, Warner, Bosa, Chase Young. I mean, they're just such a stacked team and such a talented roster. I don't know how the Ravens could handle with that. I mean, yeah, I'm going to end that one saying that the Niners will take the Super Bowl and the Ravens will go home Super Bowl-less.
Agreed.
All right, and that is all for now. We will see you next time.